It is 5 minutes after 10 p.m. Central African time. A blessed and beautiful one to you and yours. Welcome to African Diaries. The name is Shayla Ndikumana, and what a stunning job done there by the Africa World Hour team. Catch Tsepiso Makwetla tomorrow between 9 and 10 p.m. Central African time. It's a Monday. We focus on self. We kickstart off the week with being conscious of self. Okay, so it's self-love and self-development Mondays. In the show today, what is really interesting, something that I learned today. So I was today years old when I learned the concept of green lighting. I mean, we've all heard gaslighting, yeah? But have you heard of green lighting is my question to you this evening. If not, you're more than welcome to let me know. Find me on plus 27634069126. But that's a conversation that is reserved for 10:35. We kickstart off with the recap of the show. And of course, not just one, but very many shows hosted here on Channel Africa. And then we head over to that conversation concerning green lighting and gas lighting. If you don't know the difference between the two, if you're saying, Shayla, I don't even understand the context you're speaking of, stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. And then we jump into our very last of the 4-part series that was dubbed Rewiring Your Mind for Success. And today we have a treat for you. Julianne Hoss, who is a therapist, as well as Willem Goos, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, will be joining us together. We usually have them separate, meaning we'd have Julianne this week and then Willem the next week. This time around, they come together and they join forces to help us conclude this 4-part series. And that's what comes your way. Again, you can get in touch with us. Find us on WhatsApp plus 27634069126.
When the sun goes down, we don't stop the talk. Channel Africa, the best nighttime radio. We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet. Channel 628.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GPV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GPV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Africa Speaks on African Diaries with Shayla Ndikumana.
Keep on the ball.
Yes,
It's the kids, baby.
Napenda kuhesabu namba, 1, 2, 3. Napenda kuhesabu namba, 1, 2, 3.
Kinamba namba, 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 kinamba namba. Namba 1, namba 2, namba 3, namba 4, namba 5, namba 6, namba 7, namba 8, namba 1, namba 2, namba 3, namba 4, namba 5, namba 6, namba 7, namba 8. Kama utani mtoto kanambia mambo. Kanambia mambo. Kama utani mtoto kasogea kando. Kasogea kando. Kama utani mtoto katoa na password. Katoa na password. Kama utani mtoto kanipea namba. Kanipea namba. Kinamba 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 namba. Namba moja, namba mbili, namba tatu, namba nne, namba tano, namba sita, namba saba, namba nane, namba moja, namba mbili, namba tatu, namba nne, namba tano, namba sita, namba saba, namba nane. Namba moja, namba mbili, namba tatu, namba nne, namba tano, namba sita, namba saba, namba nane, namba moja, namba mbili, namba tatu, namba nne, namba tano, namba sita, namba saba, namba nane.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802, Africa's very own think tank. This is Channel Africa Online. www.channelafrica.co.za.
Shaking them off faster. Shaking keep it okay. Shaking them off faster. Namotilo, Jo Walese, Namotilo, Jo Walese. Shaking keep it okay. Shaking them off faster. Shaking keep it okay. Shaking them off faster. Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no. Ah. But I know they ask me you, they want to know how things they go for my country you. You don't follow, people don't go low, and Jisuru. No easy, no money you, no light to you. But anchor, you know the flow. If you vex you, then go come up, then go come me you. Carry you go. Anapatelu mi o shomo. Anapatelu me o shomo lomo. Anapatelu mi o shomo. Anapatelu me o shomo lomo. Shaking keep okay. Shaking them off faster. Shaking keep okay. Shaking them off faster. Namotilo, Jo Walese, Namotilo, Jo Walese. Shaking keep okay. Shaking them off faster. Shaking keep okay. Shaking them off faster. Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no. Ah. Oh no 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 no. Oh no 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 no. Ah. Oh yeah, get more, be more original. That's true. Oh yeah, get more, be more original. Oh yeah, get more, be more original. Only that to get to all you. Only that to get to all you. Yeah. Anapatelu mi o shomo. Anapatelu mi o shomo lomo. tell you me, oh, shama. I never tell you me, oh, shama, shama. Keep it so cute. Them of us, keep it so cute. Them of us, keep it so cute. Them of us, keep it so cute. Them of us.
Seventeen minutes after 10 p.m. Central African time. Burna Boy with a throwback there, that one titled Soke, taking us to Nigeria. And then keeping us in the east of Africa is Bill Nass, that one titled Kinamba Namba, alongside Wuzu, G Nako, Apuki, and DJ Juicy. Very interesting names. Nevertheless, welcome to it. This is African Diaries. Shayla and Dikumana keeping you company. It is time for us to get into our recap. This is an opportunity to look at some of the stories covered right here on Channel Africa, just for you to get a flavor, a taste, a bit of a sprinkle pops, if you will, of what the station has to offer. For now, let's pay some bills.
Let the good times roll. From the 10th of October, make a note. Channel Africa is stepping into a brand new era with the launch of our upgraded website and app. It's easy, fresh, and always on your fingertips. Wherever you are in the world, Africa's voice is just a click away. The future of Channel Africa goes live from the 10th of October. Don't miss the moments. Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Musicians, remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio. But sadly, they do not guarantee that you will be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Channel Africa, where every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy. Feel the connection. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
19 minutes after 10 p.m. Central African time, we kickstart off the recap with Africa Update. And they were observing the reality that today, if you did not know, the 27th of October is observed as World Day of Audiovisual Heritage. And to speak further on this, Lulu Gabu was joined by archivist Pilisanda Kumalo.
Pilasande, good afternoon and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon, Lulu, and well, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've been hearing this voice.
Well, you guys are always hiding, you're always hiding. So at least now, we've met and you need to tell us, this is exciting in the same breath. And just briefly take us through how you got into the space.
So Lulu, this year is actually my finally a breakthrough year for a permanent job here at SABC.
Oh wow, yay!
Yeah. So I started last year as an intern around June to May this year. Then on June, then I became a permanent staff as an archivist for Channel Africa.
Now, today we celebrate this day, audiovisual heritage, dedicated to recognizing the significance of audiovisual materials. What does your job entail?
My job actually is to make sure that Channel Africa content is preserved and can be accessible even to the public. It doesn't have to be like around the producers or the SABC staff only, but it's also catered even to the external clients who wants to know what's happening, what has been happening on the news, since we have news actuality. So yeah, that's what I do.
And
21 after 10 p.m. Central African time. We continue with the upside, and today they were graced with the presence of a crown. Kawekazi Mazaleni is a 24-year-old who recently won, as recent as this past Saturday, Miss South Africa 2025. Her coronation took place at the Sunbet Arena in Pretoria on Saturday, and they then had an opportunity, they being Tebogole Kuleni and Mateko Masito, to have a sit down and just gauge her for where she finds herself.
More than a pageant, it was a cultural spectacle. The judges panel boasted royalty too, including former Miss South Africa winners Dr. Tamron Green, Ndavi Nokeri, journalist Heidi Gyokos, and actress Cindy Mahlangu, and branding guru Tebe Ikalifeng. Now with over 3 million rand in prizes, including a Mercedes-Benz, a luxury penthouse, and 1 million rand in cash, Kawekazi steps into a new role, not just as a beauty queen, but as a voice for purpose, power, and possibility. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome to the upside, Miss South Africa, Kawekazi. Good afternoon and welcome to the upside. How are you doing?
Doing very well, thanks. How are you doing?
We are fantastic. Congratulations on your win. How does it feel? Have you had time to take it all in? I mean, it's only been a day or two.
I think we're on what? We are on day 2. It's starting to sink in slowly but surely. But I think as the days go by, I'll start to realize that I am actually Miss South Africa.
That is so beautiful. Congratulations. Let's talk about, I'm hearing the words journey and growth in my mind as Deborah was speaking. Mm-hmm. So every Miss South Africa has a story that has led to that crown, you know? And what part of your personal journey do you think shaped you for this title?
Sure, that's such a beautiful question. I think for me, it really started in high school and my decision to actually become a speech therapist. Because that's when I really feel like I found my purpose and what I wanted to do in this life. And so when I was in varsity, that's when I started with looking for ways to make education more inclusive within South Africa. And with that, I decided, okay, cool, let me publish a book in isiXhosa. Right. So we could make education more inclusive. And then from that, just being able to start, we can do it on a bigger platform, and now we're at Miss South Africa.
Well,
24 after 10 p.m. Central African time, the voice there of your reigning queen, South Africa. She is Miss South Africa 2025-2026, Kawekazi Mazaleni, who in actual fact has quite the story of brilliance. If you think about, firstly, her profession, which I think is very taboo to talk about across the continent, affords people not only an opportunity to see somebody who looks like them achieve so much greatness, but also somebody who looks like them, who is venturing into spaces that they don't necessarily know about. Perhaps you're on the opposite end and you're saying, Shayla, speech therapy is a thing that Africans do. Maybe that's your story. Find me on WhatsApp and tell me all about it. +27 634 069 I must just say, I do appreciate how we are straying away from what once looked like a doll, and we're starting to have reigning queens who look like the ordinary girl on the street, you know, who represent true African views, true African beauty, true African excellence. And that for me is a stunner. That brings us to the end of the recap. If you want to hear these and more stories, please do find us on www.channelafrica.co.za. If you want to watch the audio visuals, if you're looking to see how beautiful Kawekazi looked on today's interview, head over to YouTube. Channel Africa is the platform. Head over to the video section and you should see with the thumbnail and of course the heading where to find that conversation. It is 25 after 10 p.m. Central African time.
Nighttime radio, just the way you like it. On Channel Africa, where the night comes alive. African Diaries, weekdays, 10 till midnight.
It is time for us to focus on the very first conversation we will be hosting. Now, tonight we take a moment to pause and reflect on subtle ways our emotional realities are often dismissed and how we can reclaim them. Firstly, before we talk about the next person, I just want to come back to a conversation that I think we overlook. Sometimes the focal point of gaslighting is on the next person. So she, he, they made me feel this way. But I've often found that as Africans, we struggle to accept our emotions. Could it be that you are the very person who gaslights yourself and therefore has become the person that gaslights others because you dismiss how you feel, you reckon that what you feel is not important, and you put others above yourself? Listen, while you think on that, while you are ruminating, you're saying, Shayla, wait, why are you blaming me? Let me give you the phrases that prompt a gaslighting setting. Okay, we have 21 phrases that you are going to hear just now that will speak to the reality of gaslighting. And so picture a conversation, right? And someone were to relay their emotions. These are the typical responses one would hear. Now, my question to you this evening is, outside the other people that gaslight, do you hear yourself say these things to yourself? Let's have a listen.
Let's get to the 21 most common phrases that if you're hearing these, you want to pay attention. All right, so keep this list with you. The first one is, you're being paranoid. You're overreacting. That never happened. You're making that up. You have always been crazy. Oh God, we've heard that, haven't we? Like, that just makes your skin crawl. Or this one, I don't know what you want me to say. It's your fault. Everyone agrees with me. It was a joke. Can't you just take a joke? How dare you accuse me of doing that? Why can't you be more like, and then fill in the blank. They'll use that of, why can't you be more like your sister, your mother, my sister, my mother? I can't have any negative emotions around you.
Those are just a few of the phrases that you would hear. I mean, let's ruminate on some more, right? Are you too dramatic? You're overreacting. Essentially, the idea is to dial down how you feel so that you can accept the context of another. I know that gaslighting is something that we often view from the next person's end. So somebody is saying these things to you. Oh my goodness, you're gaslighting me. I want to turn the page and say, what about you? What if you are the gaslighter on self? What if something happens and you decide, no, I can't feel this didn't happen. Or wait, Shayla, you're being too dramatic. Or you're overthinking this. Are these some of the phrases that you push onto self? And I'll tell you why it's important for us to gauge this. Because the minute you know how to treat yourself, you know how to set the standard for how people treat you. Okay? When we think of real love and how it doesn't silence you, it sees you, it has to start with self. Our next conversation affords us that opportunity to look at the reality of gaslighting. And our guest this evening, Sir Montle, is the director of Montle Business Consulting. He's also a keynote speaker, a mentor, and a life coach. 29 after 10 p.m. Central African time. While you ponder on whether or not you gaslight yourself, let's get some music.
Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa.
Africa, Sanga wene song Africa, that's all we know now. Sanga wene song Africa, Sanga wene song Africa, that's all we know now. Beuna kaviga tukama kakutavye, winning nanka nikatikuma kakubamye. Lebga sutobo nizambo namafogo. La wela batabwa nizambu Afrika. Beuna kabiga tukama kakuta ye. Windig nanga nikatikoma kakubam ye. Lebga sutobo nizambo namafogo. La wela batabwa nizambu Afrika. Sanga wene song Africa. Sanga wene song Africa. Atori no ngabube. Sanga wene song Africa. Sanga wene song Africa. Atori no ngabube. Kama zita mimba so no ngapa mapanga no ngapa mapango wila batabwa nizambu Afrika tunagalora mimba skunkuma uminga kama zita mimba so no ngapa mapanga no ngapa mapango la wila batabwa nizambu Afrika ni man rambe Afrika tika makuta we Afrika wo ni man rambe Afrika tika makuta we Afrika we Sanga wene song Africa. Sanga wene song Africa. Atori no ngabube. Sanga wene song Africa. Yeah, yeah we. Sanga wene song Africa. Atori no ngabube. Sunora lora mi mas kunkuma. Uminga kama zita mi no ngapa mapanga no ngapa mapango wila batambwa nizambu Afrika la wila batambwa nizambu Afrika wila batambwa nizambu
In this episode of Channel Africa Conversations, Peter talks to Dr. Tulisile Buddha, an academic, author, and an expert in indigenous knowledge systems. Join us for a compelling discussion on preserving African languages and traditions in the digital era. Dr. Tulisile unpacks the role of educators, explorers, and how technologies like AI can support cultural preservation, and challenges us to rethink how we honor African heritage. You can find the episode on YouTube, SABC Plus, and on our website, channelafrica.co.za. This episode is a must-listen for educators, creators, and change makers across the continent. Channel Africa, the African perspective. We are on Open View's audio bouquet. Channel 628. From Cape to Cairo, every beat tells a story. It's African Diaries on Channel Africa.
It is 38 minutes after 10 p.m. Central African time. That last song there titled Dopamine by Fireboy DML, and before that we had Africa coming through, and that by Ali. Listen, if you've just joined us, welcome to it. African Diaries is the name of the show. Shayla and Dikumana keeping you company, and we're about to get into our very first conversation. Before that, I want to say hello to a few folk that are joining us live. I see that Hazen is watching from Bram Fisher. A blessed and beautiful one to you and yours, Hazen. I see that Mzo Mkize is also tuned in from Durban, Mlazi. Thank you so much for choosing us over the rest. Another text coming in, and we absolutely appreciating you. I know that somebody was watching from Pretoria. Yes, and that is Mampoleng, who is watching from Mamelodi, Pretoria. Just to name a few folk, if you want to send through your commentary, your questions, please do find us on the YouTube live stream. Channel Africa is the platform. And once you search for that, you should see that we are live. Click onto the profile, and on the live you are. Send through your commentary there. If not, you can find us on DSTV's 802 628 on OpenView HD. We're also live on TikTok, MS_NDIKUMANA. Now, tonight we're diving into self-love and self-determination, how we reclaim our emotional truths in a world that often distorts them. Our focus, gaslighting versus green lighting, okay? Let me set the context for you. Gaslighting makes us question our own reality. Phrases like "you're overreacting," "that's not how it happened," is what you would often hear. Green lighting, on the other hand, invites empathy and validation. I want to understand your perspective. Your feelings are valid. Those are some of the statements you would hear alongside green lighting. We also are just noticing that there is a reality where people self-gaslight. And so we're going to be tapping into that view of the conversation as well, and joining us to unpack these dynamics as a whole is Sir Montle, keynote speaker, a mentor, and a leadership coach, helping people transform through self-awareness and empowerment. Sir Montle, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to African Diaries.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here tonight because what you are addressing today is key, and it demands a certain level of honesty from a personal point of view, because you are talking about gaslighting and green lighting and all of those that they demand that somebody must be able to confront themselves and say, where did I go wrong, or where did I miss the mark? And as a result, it is important to understand, if I'm allowed to use our African language, wuti, where did I, yeah, kukuphi la ngiye ngayilahla khona, to say maybe I am where I am because of my own faults, or because I undermined or I underlooked certain things that I was supposed to have confronted. And for me, today's topic talks too deep in terms of somebody taking a journey to say, am I willing to confront myself to say, here I went wrong, here I overlooked things, or here I was just too lenient, or I didn't put too much effort to say I need to deal with certain things concerning my life as an individual. And therefore, it is important ukuthi it is important ukuthi if we have to really to be honest with ourselves, the biggest culprit in the whole scenario is not our X's or our Y's or our Z's. It is us to say, were we honest enough to confront ourselves to say, how did we manage the situations that we found ourselves in? And how truthful were we
Yeah.
in terms of saying, Uguti, what was our contribution to the situations that we found ourselves in? Which is which is a key factor.
Sure. Sir Montley, you said a lot. Yeah, you had me at X's, Y's, and Z's. I was like, okay, we're getting into the thicket of things. Let's just start by giving definitions for those who are tuned in. He, she, they, who is listening and is saying, I don't quite get the concept of gaslighting. I mean, I've given an overview of gaslighting and green lighting, but just to reiterate so that we have our fundamentals in check, what is gaslighting and what is green lighting?
I think the issue here is that everybody is looking for an escape route to say, I am here where I am because somebody did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, one. And then on the other hand, I am in a situation where I am because I was expecting that somebody must do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So both green lighting and gas lighting, they fall under the same umbrella yokuthi umuntu is expecting that they are supposed to be at their best self because somebody else was supposed to do something for them. So akekho umuntu who is supposed to say, I am personally accountable accountable to become the best that I'm supposed to be without somebody's contribution into my life. So siphila impilo whereby abantu are always pointing fingers to say, if it was not for that person's non-contribution or contribution, I was supposed to be somewhere in life. And that on its own is a problem.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a serious problem because
absolutely.
Yeah, because because Please allow me to be honest and brutally honest to say,
Yeah.
uma umuntu will justify themselves to go into depression just because their relationship didn't go well. The question is, when they went into the relationship, what was their standard and quality systems to say, into efana nale, I'm not going to tolerate it. And uma babona ukuthi it's not happening, why did they still stay? And as a result, if it didn't work out, and then they become depressed and they become mentally unstable, it is not because ukuthi they are victims. It is because ukuthi themselves, when they saw ukuthi this thing is not according to my plan, they still decided to stay.
Sure. Sir Montle, I need to interrupt, right, so that we can get some questioning in. And I want to start off with just creating context. I think something that is really interesting that you're saying is that there has to be a train of thought or a way of thought that allows you to take accountability for your own life. However, people aren't born with knowledge, is like the first fact. Yeah, we learn knowledge contextually. Age 0 to 6, you are basically coded by your environment. So whatever you have been exposed to between 0 and 6 is what you will begin to perceive life through. That becomes your lens. And some people don't understand that they had broken coding in engrossed into them, coded into them. And so to say people are stepping into relationships and if they saw that it wasn't working out for them, why didn't they leave? It's their fault, is to dismiss the reality that there was a stage or a portion of your life that was fundamentally important, that you didn't know that you were being coded to view life a certain way. Now, with that being said, I understand the process of accountability, very important. You can't go around blaming people for your own decisions. You can't go around blaming people for the way you move in life. However, I need us to also look at the reality that people, it's not it's like, I don't think people wake up to want to suffer through life. I think they have the wrong lens. And the idea of this conversation is to create the right lens so that they can think the way you're saying they should, right? Which is, if this is not working for me, I should leave. So how do we forge that in our thinking? How do we take accountability, but also reckon with where we come from as well?
The narrative, my sister, is wrong, in the sense that we have tolerated a system that says if you end up in a mental institution, it is because Anna or James, they did not deliver as per your expectations. Now the question is, what were the standards that you set before you met Anna and James? And therefore that must talk to us to say Anna or James must not send me to a mental institution. I need to deal with that before I end up in a mental institution. So what you are trying to say is that we are sitting ducks whereby Anna and James must come and dictate to us as to how they want to see. I'm trying to be a nice guy, but that I'm trying.
Yeah.
That how they try to to want us to become and satisfy their standards. So what about our standards? You know,
Yeah.
are we that cheap to say, Anna James, before you come to me, you must understand, Horelena, I also have my own standards and my own systems. And if your standards and system don't fit into my own standards and systems, then I'm not going to say yes.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, there is a certain level of desperancy that says, I am willing to lower my standards to accommodate your standards so that I can become part of the community that says, Hore, Lena, I belong. But somebody must stand up and say, I rather be an outcast because I don't conform to these standards that are being displayed by what I see in my community on a daily basis. So when one is as a sister, you can then say, Hori, if I go into a relationship, or whether it is kemarato or business or what, but I do have a standard that says, Hori, if I don't see that this thing does not operate according to my standards, I'm going to walk away. But walking away means that the crowd is going to say to you, or you think you are special, or you think you are better than any other person. So as a result, you end up making a U-turn and saying, Bon, okay, fine, let me downgrade so that I can become an acceptable citizen. But at the end of the day, you know that within your heart, Ori, how much I love myself does not necessarily conform to what is being presented to me. And if I cannot make a statement to say, ka Sesotho ba re, ha se ntho e leng hore ke a e batla, and then you end up saying, let me accept it so that I can be acceptable in the community, then we have a serious problem.
I hear you, sir. I think just as a parting shot, you spoke about accountability, you spoke about standing your ground, you spoke about looking into yourself and realizing what it is you want. I want you to address the people who haven't had an opportunity to do that. And I know that you have been saying throughout the conversation that you want to be kinder, right? And I commend you for doing that, for taking account that people are soft, you know, and they need to hear you before they feel attacked. And that's very important. And so let's talk about somebody who hasn't been able to set those standards. Right? Before the judgment, before you should know better, let's tell them how to set the standard.
Unfortunately, when you set a standard for what you want in life, you may not have the audience that is gonna clap for you. You might find yourself as an alien to say, this is what I want for me, and then you are coming across people who say, okay, if you're gonna allow me, I'm gonna use certain terminologies. They're not derogatory, but they're just straight to say, ha motho a re ha nka thola lekgetlanyana le leng hore nka seisana le lona, meaning that I'm over 50. If I can get just like this old guy that I can laugh with, only to discover that this guy, he's 5 minutes before he goes to meet his maker. Because you wanted to belong, you wanted to prove a point. Luena, you can be part of that thing. Even in your old age, you can still find somebody that you can, spend your life with. And let's take it further, like a person that says, I don't want a car. KaSizulu bari umuntu athi ngifuna imochwana, meaning that I just need something to run around. And then you discover there's no dealership that is selling runarounds. There's no car that is called mochwana. And then you look for somebody who's saying, I'm looking for a job, that to say ke batla ho hwaya. So now you understand, Hori, your self-love is now deteriorated to the level that anything that comes, you are going to embrace it, even if the inner person within you, the standards within you, is not aligned to what you want to deal with. So we are why because you want to become a part of a community. So now I'm trying to say to everybody out there to say, be bold enough to say, if something is not according to my standard, I'm not going to accept it. Absolutely. If something is not going to be according to my expectations, it is not going to become part of what I want to achieve at the end of the day. So I have to set standards that will say to the universe, if I can use that terminology, to say, let the universe know, or even if I'm at my lowest, there are certain things that I'm not going to accept.
Yeah. So, Montle, we are pressed for time, so we will park it here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This has been a pleasure.
Thanks, my dear.
The voice of keynote speaker, mentor, leadership coach, helping people transform through self-awareness and empowerment. His name is Sir Montle. It is 11 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the second hour of African Diaries.
News, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. Enjoy the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. One continent, 1,000 stories. It's African Diaries, 10 till midnight on Channel Africa.
You're my baby, my baby, my baby.
Awutando lako, awutando lako, awutando lako. Awida, I'm people mulo awisungo wa. Ono manginga fela ngingo wa, ono manginga fela ngingo wa ko. Awida, I'm people mulo awisungo wa. Ono manginga fela ngingo wa, ono manginga fela ngingo wa ko.
Bengis chelugu chutane bengina lalu kwanelisi. Bengis chelugu chutane bengina lalu kwanelisi. Sundela my baby dizzy, you're my baby acti, you're my baby, my baby. Sundela my baby, you're my baby, you're my baby, my baby.
Okay, let's do it like this. Yeah, she probably think I'm moving on. I tried telling her, baby, I'm never leaving. I want to cherish the bond. She tired of holding on. She tired of being strong. Tired of thinking about me when I'm gone. Money on my mind, I'm focused on paying bills. I should have focused on showing her how I feel. I should have focused on giving her something real, something so she could heal.
Please don't take your loving away from me. Oh, sky fell a below. I'll be right here with you. Don't take your loving away from me. Oh, sky fell a below. I've been right here with you.
Sundela my baby dizzy, you're my baby acti, you're my baby, my baby. Sundela my baby dizzy, you're my baby acti, you're my baby, my baby.
Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa. Channel Africa. Every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy. Feel the connection. Channel Africa. The African perspective.
DJ spin
I'm on my way to you. The time is on the loose. I will always fight for truth. If I had the chance to choose,
yeah, we go.
like every other spider. My weakness is love. I don't do it for the medals. Cause no me without us. P stands for the people. So I be on my way whenever you think you need to.
1, 2, 3.
I'll be.
Ladies,
I'll be.
It is 8 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African Time. DJ Spinner on that one titled One Call alongside Omalay and Tyler representing the West and the South coming together. Just before that, we had Venom and Shishiliza and that one titled Sondela alongside Yams, Raspy, Ricky Reek, the late and great, and Tseho. We are going to be getting into the second hour's contents. This is an opportunity to wrap up this four-part series that we have been hosting, dubbed Rewind, or rather Rewiring Your Mind for Success. I suppose it's I who wants to rewind into the previous contexts and conversations. We were joined by Julianne Hoss and Willem Goos. Julianne Hoss is a therapist and Willem Goos is an entrepreneurial thinking expert. And today they come together as one. And so if you have your questions and you're thinking, Shayla, what was this particular series about? What did you cover? We were looking at reframing your thinking so that you would walk into success. I know that sounds... it sounds a little too easy. It sounds like there's a catch. It sounds like, Shayla, you're selling the thing. You're not telling me the truth. Trust you me. When you listen to these two individuals talk about the state of your thinking, your perceived view, and how you consume society, you'll realize why I'm saying you walk into success. And so we get into that conversation in a short bit. If you want to send through your questions, your commentary, do find us on WhatsApp +27 6340 69126 on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, and any other social media platform. It is at Channel Africa 1.
The Upside, taking the African perspective to fresh levels.
Million ways them free when them buck up in a torture. Cause them I get torture.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to The Upside.
More fire.
All things that torture. That's the name of the album.
You know, torture literally means that someone who bears a torch, like a torture, like not T-U-R, but T-O-R-C-H-E-R. So like it's a Statue of Liberty holding a torch, like keeping it burning, you know what I'm saying? Like it just implies the fact that we have to inspire one another. We have to tell it through the music and reach out to the people to know that, listen, you got light inside of you that has to bend. You know what I'm saying? Like keep it burning, like don't let nobody dim your shine.
The Upside, live and real. It's dynamic. We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet. Channel 628. Channel Africa, where every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy. Feel the connection. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa Speaks on African Diaries with Shayla Ndikumana.
Look what the hot body can do. Focus. Look what the hot body can do. Body be dancing, slow wine, so my body so fine. Like bush when I'm at her inside. Too quant when I'm at her inside. Make sense, oh, make sense. Oh my God, I need resistance. Fragrance, when from a distance. Make sense, oh, make sense. Body be dancing, controller, controller. I get remote for my holder. I make your body slow when I slow down. Put it on the low, no go loud down. You know the things I wanna do tonight. Unusual. Put it down, make it take away your peace of mind. You go blow like water, we get it freeze up like yeah. Open your eyes and look. Look what the hot body can do. I say, look. Focus. Look what the hot body can do. Body be dancing, slow wine, so my body so fine. Like bush when I'm at her inside. Too quant when I'm at her inside. Make sense, oh, make sense. Oh my God, I need
music, love culture, love life. Because you on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
"18 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time, the East and the West coming together for that beautiful double play, ending us off there, Sailing by Kajanin, and before that, Hot Body by Arya Starr. We're going to be getting into our conversation concerning rewiring our mind for success, but this is the tail end of that 4-part series. Before we do that, though, let's pay some bills.
Annika Longi sur Channel Africa.
Comment est-ce que les militants et sympathisants du parti Les Transformateurs ont-ils réagi face à la condamnation de Succès Masra?
La condamnation de Succès Masra ne nous a pas surpris et les militants transformateurs ont été bouleversés et indignés étant donné que le verdict est un verdict lourd, illégal, injuste et donc face à la répression dans laquelle le peuple tchadien est confronté, les militants transformateurs se sont résignés de ne pouvoir pas sortir manifester manifester. Et donc, c'est une situation totalement absurde pour un pays. Et aujourd'hui, nous célébrons le 11 août, fête de l'indépendance. On pensait que le verdict allait être plus ou moins clément, mais le verdict est sévère.
Annika Longi. Tous les dimanches sur Mix
Es-tu
Vibration.
préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix
Qui mérite d'être entendue.
Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42
et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le diamant rouge et Binal Sport depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance
d'exprimer ton point de vue,
de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise
ton avis.
Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur
Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
From Cape to Cairo, every beat tells a story. It's African Diaries on Channel Africa.
20 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. We are continuing with that conversation on self-love and self-determination, and we are wrapping up our inspirational series, Rewiring Your Mind for Success. Now, in a rapidly changing world where uncertainty has become our daily reality, we need more than just skills. We need psychological readiness. We have spoken about perfectionism, growing in uncertainty, first-generation opportunities, and social pressures. Tonight, we are joined once again by Julianne Hoss, who is a therapist, and Willem Goos, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, two phenomenal thinkers and change makers, helping us understand how we can reset our mindsets to unlock Africa's potential, one mind at a time. Joining us on the line is Julianne Hoss. Good evening to you, ma'am. Thank you so much for choosing
Good evening.
to spend time with us, Julianne. Where you tuned in, and where are you going to be talking to us from?
I'm still at a friend's place in Cape Town. I went on my annual hike last week, 1 week without a cell phone, just in the nature.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And joining us in studio is Willem Goos. So thank you for coming in. You were shocking us, and I don't think Julianne is going to be shocked by what you're about to share. I want us to break the ice, because it definitely broke my ice in my brain.
Well, I was shocked when he said that AI is replacing therapists soon. But anyway, I'm over that.
Julianne, he comes in with another one.
New breaking news.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So Mr. Willem comes in and tells us that, well, let me let you tell the story about walking on fire and snapping arrows. Listen, I don't think I do the story well.
Let me explain this. So, Julianne, nice meeting you as well, and good hiking.
Meeting you.
So I'm a certified fire walking instructor. So I make a red hot fire of 600, 700 degrees centigrade, and I get you to take your shoes and your socks off, and I get you to calmly walk across the fire. And it is purely a mental exercise, because when you get to the other side, you're not burnt. Your feet look like they were when you started. Now, a lot of people ask me, why do we do this? What's the reason? Is it a Western thing? Is it an Asian thing? It's a mind thing. Everybody does it. We have quite a few instructors right through Africa in many African countries. Now, if I had to ask you, Shayla, does fire burn? What are you going to say to me?
Absolutely.
Amen. Preach. It's going to burn.
Yeah.
Now I get you to walk across that fire and nothing happened to your feet.
Yeah.
Is it still true?
Julianne, come help me. Come help me. Don't leave the chat yet.
And here's the thing there, is it helps you to start questioning things. Because as we believe fire burns, as we hold that belief, we hold on to the belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not tall enough, short enough, fat enough, thin enough. You know the enoughs. We have all of those. And Julianne, I think you deal with a lot with those in your practice. And it's just a way to unlock and get people to start questioning what they held as a firmly held belief, as a truth in their life, and things tend to start unraveling afterwards.
Julianne, do you also make people walk on fire? I just need to clarify if this is the chat that we are having right now.
No, I have never done that. But it is fascinating. I think there's a point where even fire gets so hot that it will actually burn us. But there's also, I believe, there are those underlying beliefs that we have that are holding us back, and we often call them the underlying stressors, which is quite interesting because a lot of the actual material impact on our health, in how it weighs us down and how it makes us sick, are the worries we have, are exactly precisely those self-doubts that you spoke to them. And we can show that in psychology, we can show that in medicine, that if we weigh ourselves down with our thoughts, and often even unconscious because we've learned them from way back in our childhood, we can measure that in the lab with the tools that we have in psychology and medicine. So I definitely also believe that how we speak to ourselves, what we believe ourselves, has a material impact whether we get hurt or not.
That's really interesting, Julian. I'm going to stick with you for a moment. What Willem said about belief systems kind of shakes the ground on what we deem valid and true, right? If we're saying this thing that we have known to burn us before, that has burnt us before, can unburn us, for the lack of a better word, then how we think essentially governs what we experience, right? And so for the very many that you have worked with, how do we reset fundamentals? Because me understanding that fire is hot is not because I woke up one day and I'm like, ooh, fire is hot. I got burnt before, or somebody exposed me to a fire and that made me fear. And so in the place of understanding the fire is hot came the feeling of fear to avoid fire. How do we reset that?
So there's different ways that you can do it. So one approach that I really like is to write down, what have you learned? What have you learned as a child? What have you seen people around you believing or teaching you? And then how would you want to rewrite that for yourself or for the next generation? So it can be as explicit as that, but also just questioning our beliefs. I always call it the layers that you have to filter everything that you're telling yourself through. And the first layer is always, is that true? Can we be sure that this is true? And if we can really be sure, is it about me? Can I take it personal? Or is it actually unrelated so I can distance myself? And if I think, yes, it's true and it is about me, is there something I can do about it? Or am I stressing myself for no obvious reason? And sometimes it can also be helpful to say, what is the price that I want to pay? Because often in our attempt to create a safe environment, we've forgotten that instead of making our lives as safe as necessary, we're now making them as safe as possible. And we're distancing ourselves from everything that could potentially fill our lives with whatever we want to do, with aspirations or with joy or with goals or with vision. So just let me give you a simple example. Oftentimes, when I speak to parents and how they raise their kids, what comes out is that they're just trying to avoid harm. They're just trying to avoid any danger or risk on their child's life. And if I say to them, yeah, cool, you're raising your child like a ship in the harbor and it's safe there, but would you build a ship for that? It only occurs to them that, wow, we're only solving for safety because fear has become the dominant theme in our lives. And changing that and asking again, but what would you do if you feel safe enough, can be a very powerful approach.
I love that. Willem, I'm going to turn to you. Something that's really interesting that you questioned at the end of your explanation and just walking us through what you do with firewalking is perceived lens. You know, you brought to the fort our perceived lens, and just off the back of what Julianne was saying in terms of transformation and you looking at your understanding, I want to get into the entrepreneurial state of thinking in terms of tangibly reworking the way you think about things. And I'm going to put forth to you the very same example. Fire at age 6 was taught to me as hot because I have a scar that reminds me I got burnt. At age very young and beautiful, You want me to now walk across this firebed, and this is the memory I have. How do we begin to have conversation with self through the lens of entrepreneurial thinking that will change this reality?
It's a very good question, and thank you for asking that. It's about starting to do things differently. And you always have to ask yourself, what do I need to start doing, stop doing, or change in what I'm doing? And we always think on a physical layer, but we have to think on a cognitive layer and an emotion layer. So you have an emotional layer that you need to deal with it as well, but then you can, as she said, look at the exercise you can do. That's when you start working on the cognitive layer. Because what we look at and what we see is not the same thing. I always tell people, if I had a group of 20 people and I put a policeman in front of them, some will feel safe, some will feel unsafe, some will feel anger, some will feel nothing. What is he doing? Nothing. They're projecting that onto him. So it's about that metacognition, becoming aware of your own thoughts and the lenses that you hold around things, that you can then start questioning and say, oh, what am I not seeing? How might I look at this from a different angle? What have I not entertained? Because if you have an emotional block, usually we try to block alternative views. And you're like, no, I don't hear that. But now you have to make the decision on a cognitive level to override the emotional side and said, let's just hear it. Let's just take a look at it and take small steps. And that's where the entrepreneurial thinking comes in from the flow forward as to what's this next smallest step that you can take now? And what are the resources that you have? Whom can you call? What can I get? How might I move forward with it?
Julianne, I want to bring you into the emotional aspect of this particular conversation. Often we know what we want to do. However, there's an emotion affiliated with this action that we want to practice that stops us, right? There's a tangible feeling, like I get sad when I think of walking on hot coals. It just brings me sadness. And this isn't necessarily something that I learned in my later years. It's something I learned as a child. That was the feeling I perhaps carried. And so I want to talk about how to have a conversation with self about the feeling. Because I think more often than not, the reason why we fail, and I'm saying this because I've seen very many challenges on social media, 75 hard, 30-day challenge, do this, and day 1, 2, 3, you're excited before you stop. And it's not that you're not willing. It's almost like there's this layer of feeling that we don't interact with that stops us from progressing forward. Let's have that conversation with self.
For me, I still love the conversations with ourselves in the moments when these beliefs burnt into our skin nearly. So there's a beautiful approach that I use when we think back and we ask ourselves, okay, when did you learn that? For example, I worked with a client the other day, and the client always belittled themselves a little bit. And there was a moment in her childhood when literally she walked into the house and made sure no one notices her. And then you can, in just a guided meditation, go back to that moment and say, I'm speaking to my younger self and I'm saying, come out of that feeling. And you can remind yourself of that. So that is a beautiful approach that I often use. Also, sometimes connecting with the emotion to really feel through it, because what gives the emotions power over us is that we also think we need to avoid them. Because if we try to escape our emotions, that's how the fear grows in psychology and also in trauma theory. We call it the fear of the fear. So that you actually become so scared that the fear will come up again that you don't even engage with that emotion. So just being able to hold the fear and grow beyond it is also very powerful. And I also use a way of really listening to your body where you feel the emotion and breathing in and staying calm until the emotion subsides. So it's really learning to understand what is going on in your body and really becoming a supporter to yourself. And I mentioned I was hiking last week, and we actually we had a shortage of water because it was super, super dry. And I noticed how I was suddenly feeling a little bit of panic in my body, and I didn't want to feel it. And next thing, I was panicking about everything in my life, about my loved ones, about the future, about everything. So it was the feeling inside my body that I had ignored that then took over other parts of my life. Had I just sat with it and had I said, okay, this is an emotion that I'm having. I'm supporting myself and I'm saying, I will try my best to get through this hike, but there's always a way for me to descend and stop the hike. I would have been able to calm down. So just actually looking at the emotion, being able to feel through it is also a very powerful approach.
It is 35 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. The voice there of Julianne Hoss, who is a therapist, part of our 4-part series alongside Willem Gous, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert. If you have your questions, you're more than welcome to send them through. Find us on WhatsApp +27 634069126, or comment on the live feed currently on YouTube. Head over to Channel Africa and you should see the pink or the red highlight, depending on how you see color. And then just click on the profile picture and voila, done and dusted. You are part of the live feed. And I see that Nelly Siwe Caesar came through and shared their comment. Thank you so much for choosing us over the rest. We take a quick breather. When we get back, we continue this very last installment of Rewiring Your Mind for Success.
Channel Africa, where every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy, feel the connection. Channel Africa, the African perspective. We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet. Channel 628. Africa Update on Channel Africa with Lulu Kabu.
Mozambique's opposition leader Venancio Mondlane has been charged with incitement to terrorism and disobedience. He faces a total of 5 charges. The charges relate to post-election violence that left hundreds of people dead. What punishment is he looking at?
The most severe charges are 2. One is incitement for terrorism, and also is being charged for mobilizing people for terrorism during the protests. These charges are really serious and severe. If he is condemned, is found guilty, he could serve 10 years plus years in jail, meaning that he would be banned from political participation, mainly for the 2028 and 2029 electoral cycle.
The director of CDD, the Center for Democracy and Development, Adriano Novunga.
Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let the good times roll. From the 10th of October, make a note. Channel Africa is stepping into a brand new era with the launch of our upgraded website and app. It's easy, fresh, and always on your fingertips. Wherever you are in the world, Africa's voice is just a click away. The future of Channel Africa goes live from the 10th of October. Don't miss the moments. Channel Africa, where every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy, feel the connection. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Turn the page. It's African Diaries on Channel Africa.
It is 38 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. If you have just joined us, thank you so much for choosing us over the rest. This is African Diaries, Shayla Ndikumana. And joining me in studio is Willem Gous, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert. And Julianne Hoss, who joins us on the line, who is a therapist. Willem, very excited to be here in studio. Thank you so much for joining us in person, while Julianne Hoss joins us on the line. Willem, I want to get back to something that we were talking about, so that sort of touched on what Julianne was saying. You said a statement, and it got me I was stunned, to say the least. You said that of the natural, we tend to believe everything we say to ourselves, right? So whatever the context is, whatever the conversation is, Shayla will believe Shayla as long as Shayla is the one saying it to Shayla.
Yeah, and that's in the context of our internal conversation that we have.
Yes.
Like I said to you, you know what, and to add to the conversation that she had. In my work, I found most people have an abusive relationship with themselves. If you listen to their self-talk, what they say to themselves, and I always tell people, here are a few rules. Number one, don't say something to yourself that you wouldn't allow a stranger on the street to say to you.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't imagine somebody walking past you on the street, you don't know them, and they say the most vile stuff to you. You will address them. But how many times do we say such things to ourselves? And that's, for me, the important. We believe these things. Like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. And Gillian can comment on this. There's a great writing exercise you can do, and you just take an A4, just a piece of paper, and start writing, I am, and finish that sentence and start the next one, I am. Just see where it leads. And you will be surprised. It can go negative, positive, it can go places but I've seen very negative places where it goes to like, ooh, okay, this is not healthy.
Julianne, just to touch base on that statement of just letting your mind flow with your belief system around self. What are some of the encounters that you have experienced? Perhaps not of that very same exercise, but something similar to that extent.
I always like to ask my clients, if you would wake up next to someone who would speak to you the way you speak to you first thing in the morning, would you want to be in a relationship with that person? So I definitely agree that we often, the way we speak to ourselves, it sounds a little bit abusive. And a lot of clients do notice that. I like to do a similar exercise where I ask people, who are you? But I ask for 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9, 10 minutes over and over again. And often what comes out that after the first sad encounters with how we see ourselves, people have a lot that they can connect with. Because often the deeper we dig, the more we find things that we also like about ourselves. And potentially what I think is also helpful is to connect with the people who really love us. Because oftentimes there is someone who believes in us. And I love to really take people to the place of, who is it that believes in you? Who is it that really loves you? Who is it that showed up for you no matter what you did and no matter what you got wrong? And that to me is a starting point to change the relationship to ourselves. And that's also a place that we can always go back to. That person who really loved us, because then it also sounds really different. Because if I start working with clients and I ask them, what do you want to change in your life? Oftentimes what you actually get is a checklist, like a self-improvement plan. People think if I change everything and I'm just doing things as great as I can, I'm getting everything right, and I'm losing weight and I'm going to the gym and I'm doing that and that, then I will eventually be happy. But it doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. So tapping in and connecting with the person that sees value in you, whether you achieve or whether you had a bad day, for me is much more promising. And you can always remind yourself of that.
Willem, I'm going to turn to you and we are going to look at this interesting fact that I recently learned. Your brain does not reward progress, it rewards repetition. So a great chunk of your thinking is on automation.
Oh, absolutely.
And your brain loves that because automation means that that's safe, right? I want us to also go back to the example that we started with, walking on fire. And I want to contextualize that in the African context to say that a lot of the things that we go through as Africans pertaining to finance, building wealth, just our current pockets where we find ourselves, employment, all of those feel like beds of fire that we need to walk across, right? And we have spent a lot of time walking, or rather sticking to the negative. So you've spent your whole entire, I want to say primary, high school, part of your career life, thinking that firstly, I'm not good enough to start a business. I'm not good enough to go there. So we've already created a reward system that our brain is willing to take in, right? Which is the negative. When we are changing from looking at these beds of fire as danger as compared to looking at them as opportunity, what are some of the things that you say to your clients that we can take from who are scared to walk on that bed, who look at that bed and they're like, Willem, you want to kill me? You want to hurt me? I'm not doing this. I'd certainly be one of those. What do you say to them that we can now take as words of counsel and employ when trying to rethink the context of the African continent?
It's how you frame it. It's absolutely how we frame it. And usually I see when we walk on the fire, ask yourself, what are the things that I believe stand in my way? And me walking over it is a symbol of me burning those limiting beliefs. Yes, it's how you frame things, and that creates that anchor. And you can frame it in any which way you want. Make it an interesting story. I usually have my son at the end, not that he's always there with a firewalk, but I imagine him at the end of the runway going like, Dad, I believe in you, I love you. And then I walk across and anything can stand in my way and I get over there. But I like that, but that burning needs to start at the parent level if you want to change something in Africa. Something Julian said very early on relating to parents and the beliefs that I hold. And me being a mischievous little bastard, always love poking a bear. And when I speak to parents, I say, you can only give your child that which you have. All the great things, your good manners, your style, your social finesse that you have, as well as the bad things. If you can't work with money, your child won't be able to work with money. If you can't do this, there. So I think we need to start asking the parents in Africa, the elders, to start looking, okay, what do we need to change? Because children don't learn from learning, they learn from watching. And if I see mom and dad just spending money on depreciating assets, then that's how we do things. Yeah, and that's why I'm actively working I buy my kids books on money, they have money rules, they have I educate them on the things that I'm not good at. And I'm actively working at that.
Sure. Julianne, just on that note, I want to talk about the power of repetition. So I have been watching a few videos, and there's a particular psychologist who spoke about how the brain is far more appreciative of repetition than it is of anything else, right? A state of repetition that does not seem harmful is more exciting to the brain than progress that might come across as harmful. And so with that in mind, and just as Willem was ending, the tail end of his statement, which is children learn by what they see. Just in your experiences with the African context, how do we begin to help parents reframe what it is they're teaching their children? Because their children aren't necessarily taking the books they learn in school saying, who's going to carve me and create who I am, as Willem rightfully said. They're watching their parents who are also trying to find their way in life, but feel like the world is on my shoulders. You want me to be a good parent, go to the gym, do Pilates, drink matcha that everybody says is just awful. You want me to do all these fascinating, beautiful things, but I wasn't trained. That wasn't my repetition. That wasn't what I experienced. And so I'm at a catch-22 where I'm expected to be new for the newer generation, but I too am struggling to get to this new. So maybe let's tangibly talk to parents at this stage.
Yeah, first things first, I think, especially in the African context, it doesn't necessarily have to be a parent. I think the early research in psychology focused on the mom, then the research became parents, but we actually know that it needs to be an attachment figure. And I think this is also something that I've seen with my friends when I came to South Africa. It's really beyond the core family, and there is something that even if your parents can't fulfill a certain role, they can connect you to, or you can connect yourself to another family member, to another elder, to another member of their community that can play that role. And that's why I also always say not every person that raises you needs to be that healthy relationship or that secure attachment, as long as you experience it, as long as you connect to it, as long as you see it. That, of course, that's very, very important for me first to say that. I don't think it always have to be the parents. And I think that also gives us new opportunities in how we live our lives to say, and I often like to do that activity with clients. What have your parents not taught you? There's a poem I love where they also speak about all the things that our parents forgot to teach us because they didn't know it. And from there, we can say, where else can you learn that? Where else can you connect to that? And I believe there are a lot of people around us where we can learn it from. And yes, it can come from books from parents, but it can also be through other people in our lives. And I think there's a wealth of wisdom around us if we connect to people. Connect to people of different ages, different backgrounds, people around us who can teach us what we don't know yet or can help us to see that.
I love what you're saying there. That just echoes what Willem was saying, which is for what you can't teach, lead to better influence, and for what you can do, teach. Willem, we're going to end with a tail ending. You had mentioned something very interesting. You said that you partner with like-minded individuals and you spend time with them intentionally. I want this to be an address to people who are listening, who want to become better. They're saying, I hear all the fundamentals. Rewire your brain, address the issue, recognize the emotional state, the cognitive state, the doing stuff. But I feel like my crowd doesn't speak to the change I want to see. What do you say to them?
And that's a very difficult situation. The fact that you realize it, well done, kudos. That is a good sign of awareness on that. And you need to curate the people that you surround yourself with. And my friend group, they wouldn't really get along with each other. So I see each one individually, not together, because I get something else from each and every one. Each one plays a role, and it's highly curated. And I stand corrected, and I think it was Jim Rohn who said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. Now, is it true or not? I know if you hang around with broke people, you're going to be the 5th or 6th broke person. Okay? So hang around with people who inspire you and take you to a next level. But that you need to make a decision, and that comes into the agency. That's where entrepreneurial thinking is so important. Because so many people believe that they don't have agency. I don't have any influence. I can only go with the flow. I can make no difference. But you can make a difference in your life. And always focus on what you control and what you can control, saying yes or no to spend time with people. You know, I'm an Afrikaans speaking person. I'm supposed to love rugby. If you, please don't call me and invite me for a barbecue and watching rugby. Please, I would rather crawl over Lego blocks than do that. And it's to say no, and no is a full sentence. It's not no because no is a full sentence. Just go like, do you want to come and no? They ask why? No. And it's difficult. It's not easy. But take small steps. Ask yourself, I always tell people, it's so easy to program people's minds. And Julian, I apologize for the very simple example, but I'm going to put something in your mind, in everybody's mind who listen to this. Do not think of a pink elephant.
Nope.
Okay, so everybody's thinking about that. Now, before you watch a YouTube video, ask yourself, do I want this in my mind? When you have a conversation with somebody, you can look at the conversation and give it back to them. You don't have to make it your own. So start becoming selective with the people, the information, and the knowledge that you allow into your mind. Because most of the time, I know exam knowledge doesn't stick, but it seems everything else sticks.
Julian Haas, just as a parting shot, we are pressed for time. Quickly, just to speak to the reality that you won't get it right at the first time, because now we have the knowledge and we think we can conquer and we think we're going to execute everything perfectly. Let's just address the reality that failure is imminent, but it's not that you can't do it. It's part of the process.
Yeah, because what really matters is how you feel about life, and that you can, that you connect with others, and that you feel alive. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you do things perfectly. I was actually on the hike, we were discussing that sometimes the price you pay for perfection is joy and a sense of being alive. So please don't turn personal growth into another self-improvement project. It's not about being better than others at doing this personal growth journey, right? But feeling better about yourself and feeling like you're taking steps in a direction that make you feel comfortable. And it's always easy to see what's not working around us and who's not supporting us. Definitely there are those individuals, but we have something in my line of training that we call the differential hypothesis, to always say, but where is it different? Where do you feel supported? Where do you feel alive? Where do you feel seen? And turn to those people, turn to those moments, and turn to those parts inside you where you really feel amazing and you feel good enough, and then you take it from there. That's what I really believe in.
Julianne, Willem, this has been an absolute pleasure. You have both rounded us up well toward the end of this Rewire Your Mind for Success conversation. I believe that this has to be studied in actual fact for a good 3 to 5 years in order to implement with grace. Again, thank you both for joining me this evening. Julianne, it has been a pleasure. Willem, thanks again. It is 4 minutes before the show comes to an end. I know that Morris Touch of the Afro Republic is on the other side of the line. So we're going to take a quick breather, then we get back into conversations with Morris Touch.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
Es-tu préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix qui mérite d'être entendue? Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le diamant rouge et Bina l'Esport depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Channel Africa, where every moment is an African celebration. Feel the energy, feel the connection. Channel Africa, the African perspective. From Cape to Cairo, every beat tells a story. It's African Diaries on Channel Africa.
It is 58 after 11 p.m. Central African time. 2 minutes before the show comes to an end. I don't know about you, but that very last segment of Rewiring Your Mind for Success, this 4-part journey that we have been taking with Willem Gous and Julianne Haas. And this, for me personally, has been such a phenomenal conversation. And I say this because more often than not, we tend to look around us for change. If things around us change, then surely I should be better. But we are now learning that when you change, your thinking changes, the way you perceive, the way you receive, the way you amplify your presence in the crowd. When that changes, then you walk in success. I hope that statement now makes sense. With us on the line, broadcasting all the way from Bulawayo in Zimbabwe, is Morris Touch of the Afro Republic. Sir, good evening.
Good evening, Shayla. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. Now that you've had a glimpse of what it is the show was about in under a minute, tell me what your show is about.
Not the best of days for me. I'm not feeling as hyper as I usually am. I'm actually I don't know whether I'm like walking on the moon, working. It's not a very comfortable day for me. But that being said, they show a very chilled show. We taking time. I'll also reflect on my producer who passed on over the weekend, Paseka Makafula. I'll take time and try and reflect on that as well. We've got our trending stories coming through. That's at 1 o'clock, 10 minutes to 1, and 20 past 1 as well. So we'll be looking at issues that are trending over the weekend, especially in the entertainment space. But otherwise, it's Afro Republic from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. Central African time. We do connect as well with the continent of Africa at exactly 10 minutes before the hour of 3 o'clock, just to find out if my team in the studio has an understanding of the continent of Africa in different spaces, whether it's entertainment, industry, or just the general knowledge within the continent, within the African continent. That's what we're looking at. But that's Afro Republic tonight, Shayla.
Absolutely. The morning has arrived, Morris. Thank you so much. And of course, we are in heart and in prayer with the Makafula family as we mourn the passing of our dear fellow brother, Paseka Makafula. With that being said, I must thank the team that has been. That is Elaine Vengani and Nhlanhla on digital. We had Francis Messina on technical, and we had Nombuso Mahlangu on production. The name is Shayla Ndikumana, and until later on today, cheers.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 8.